yesterday. So moving forward from today, from Monday, looking for the next 5 days worth of rain. This is kind of what we're expecting. And you'll notice that's a lot of green for southeast Texas, but that's not nearly the amounts of rain that are further over to the east into the New Orleans area, which adding up to quite a bit more rain. And we're not even showing you really what's expected out into the Gulf. The majority of this rain with this kind of low pressure system that we've been talking about is focused on the Gulf and not necessarily falling on land. So the next couple of days is really what we're focused on. Today, we're going to continue to see showers throughout the day. We're going to go into the night, and then we're going to even wake up tomorrow morning on Tuesday morning and still have some light rain, some showers around the area. And then by the time we get to lunch, we start to sort of clear that out a little bit. So here's sort of the bigger picture, the scenario. We've got this low pressure that's in the Gulf. There is kind of a stationary boundary that's kind of working along with that to squeeze out even more moisture. And then this low is going to continue to track off to the east, and the heavier of the rain is always staying just to the east of the low itself. So that's kind of why we're seeing the heavier showers there. But still, all of this moisture getting kind of pushed over. This is happening at the surface in the upper levels of the atmosphere. We'll look at that in just a minute. We're getting more sort of moisture getting pulled in from the Pacific. And that's going to moderate all of our temperatures. Notice across the state of Texas, we've got 50s and 60s just kind of hovering there for most of the day. We're not going to see really moving up or moving down a whole lot as far as the temperatures go. Our tower cams are a little bit overcast as well. Not seeing all of the buildings that we know are out there somewhere across the Houston area. But we've got those low-hanging clouds and just that light rain or that drizzle for most of us happening. A little bit of a breeze northeast at 8 miles an hour. And we'll continue pretty much to hold it steady right where we are for the rest of the afternoon, and then as we'll continue into the evening hours. So since midnight, so this doesn't count any rain that we had yesterday, this is just since midnight we've been adding it up, and we're under an inch for just about everybody as far as that measurable rainfall is concerned. We've got close to half an inch down in Galveston, which is what we would expect. We were looking for the heavier rainfall amounts to be down to the south along the coast. So again, Angleton, that matches up well there with half an inch, and also Bay City. I'm not sure how Pearland kind of got a little bit of a dry slot kind of mixed in here because Hobby Airport up to about 1/4 of an inch, and then Bush Airport also getting about 1/2 an inch overall. So in the upper levels, we've got that low pressure system, and it's moved around a little bit more than where we've got it drawn in here now, but it's continuing to pull that moisture in, and you can see here kind of in our futurecast how we look for that accumulation of rainfall. This model that we see showing the rainfall matches that previous one I was showing you with the state of Texas. Remember all that rain over in New Orleans? We changed our color tablet here, but overall you can see again all that rain stays over more towards New Orleans, and we're in that 1 to 2 inch of rain, sort of counting today and tomorrow total. So here's a live look at the Fox Red Storm Seeker radar. If you're up in the Huntsville area, it's a little drier, still probably some light drizzle happening. College Station also a little drier, but all that rain that we've seen, when I say all that rain, it's just widespread amounts of rain, but the actual accumulation of it is relatively slow. And of course, when you see the little pockets of yellow here, that's representing those slightly heavier amounts of rain, and that's also going to be expected, kind of little pockets here and there overall. So we take a look at our computer modeling, as we've talked about, the lighter amounts here in southeast Texas, heavier happening over into Louisiana. This would be a concern for those folks a lot more so than what we're seeing here in Houston. We talked about those rainfall totals. This is actually going to be more than just midnight there. This is going to be piling up over the last 24 hours. So heavier amounts of rain happening over in west of Sealy. So that's just to the western edges of the Fox 26 viewing area. Here are those heavier showers and storms that I was talking about in the Gulf. That's fine. We like to keep them there, but this large batch of the storms continues to move and will be over to the east. We're keeping an eye on things here in the Houston area. Everything manageable so far. Temperatures very moderated with the overcast skies and the rain that's happening. 58 degrees right now up in Huntsville, 60 degrees for the folks in Brenham. It's also 59 degrees down in Bay City. So focusing in a little bit, like I said, you'll notice these. If you have something at your house, I know for me, I've got a vent that's in the kitchen. I can hear that when the rain starts, or maybe you can hear that on your backyard. You've got something around that you kind of listen for to know if it's raining or not. Normally, you're not going to hear a whole lot of it because it'll be so light, and then you'll hear that little pitter-patter, a little tip-tap a little bit when those heavier amounts kind of move on through, but still nothing that's going to be overly stormy or that's going to be something that creates dangerous winds or something like that. We're just really focused at the moment on a lot of rain, and that could be nourishing rain because you'll see the drought monitor here in a minute. We continue to really need that. So we've been talking about the low pressure in the surface, which is out in the Gulf. In the upper levels of the atmosphere, that's the jet stream pattern over in the West Texas is where it's more or less centered. It's continuing to push all that moisture out ahead of it, and it's getting, again, squeezed in by some winds as well right here in the southeast Texas and a little bit more over to our neighbors to the east. Here's that drought monitor, and we certainly have seen improvements here in the Houston area. We've even got some of us that are no longer considered in drought. Notice a little bit further over to Louisiana, that's who really needs it. They're in exceptional level, and that's where the rain is headed. We do have a little bit of that extreme level still for parts of our area, both to the southwest and over to the east, and then back over towards central Texas, which is not really getting the rain now. They could certainly be using a little bit more rain now, although we keep rain in their forecast a bit as well. 54 degrees up in Lubbock. Dallas, 61 degrees on the temperatures. Let's talk about Futurecast now. We talk about the rain. You're going to be able to see this sort of slow progression of rain lessening, both in intensity and overall widespread. The afternoon, we're still all wet pretty much. But once the sun sets, we begin to sort of start pulling the more consistent and slightly heavier rain. I wouldn't call it heavy rain, but it's heavier drizzle and light rain. We start pulling that off to the east a little bit. By the time we get to 10 o'clock tonight, it's more of a scattered situation where it won't constantly be the light rain or the drizzle. We begin to thin things out a little bit. That carries into the overnight hours. And remember, we talked about those temperatures. Look how they just stuck right about 61, 60, 59, not moving much with all of that cloud cover as we continue to move through the day. A little bit more Futurecast here, stretching it out a bit more for you as we continue to see that rain clearing. I'm getting now until the sunset. That light rain and drizzle stays overnight, but again, it's much more scattered. It's not as widespread and covering. And then we get to tomorrow morning, same scenario. By noon tomorrow, here comes the clearer skies. Won't be just bright sunshine, but clearer skies. And then all that mess moves over to the southeastern portions of the U.S. All right, here we go. Here's the 7-day forecast. And we're gonna kind of get all this rain over with early in the week. Monday, Tuesday, again, Tuesday primarily just in the morning, but then we get that out of the way for tomorrow afternoon, and then get ready for some really nice looking November weather where we're going to have mornings in the 50s. We're going to have afternoons in the 70s. By the time we get to Saturday and Sunday, Friday and Saturday, on Friday and Saturday, we do start talking about upper 70s, which I know some of us would prefer maybe to keep them a little bit cooler than that, but I'm okay with that. I can handle some 70s, especially with all that sunshine. And these several dreary days, it'll be really nice to be able to kind of get outside. We'll get things dried out just a little bit as we kind of move through the end of the week. All right, you know how it works. Glad you're here watching us, however you're watching us, on your device, on your smart TV with a Fox Local app. We'll be back here in about 20 minutes for Fox 26 News at Noon.